Coming up on today's episode.
This is the classic Warren Buffett. I don't think I need to say it. Be fearful when others are greedy, greedy when others are fearful.
Yep.
So my message right now is be greedy.
Dodgy advice and bad decisions can cost you big in real estate. We're here to make sure that that doesn't happen. Welcome to the No BS Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Agresta, and it's time to take control of your property journey together. Welcome back, everyone, to the No BS Real Estate Podcast, your listening how-to guide to the Aussie finance and real estate market. I'm your host, Joe Agresta. Today's episode is a little bit unhinged in the best way because joining me once again is our special guest, Cam Tyers. And today we're answering one very simple question. What the fuck is going on right now in property and the market? Because depending on who you listen to, the market is either falling apart, impossible to buy in, or somehow still the best time ever to jump in. Rates are up, cost of living is biting, headlines are everywhere, and buyers are being hit with noise from every direction. So today we're stripping it all back. We're unpacking what's actually happening in the market right now, why buyers feel so rattled, and how the media is feeding that fear, what's changing in negotiations, and most importantly, the real question sitting underneath it all. If you can afford to buy in these economic times, should you? So, we're cutting through the noise, ditching the drama, and getting back to basics. Cam, welcome back. And also, seriously, what the hell is going on?
Oh my God, I got no idea. It is crazy out there.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
And it's starting. It's just starting right now. So last few weeks, things have, the fear mongers coming into a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's understandable where people are coming from, but they're worried about, petrol prices going up, the instability in Iran, and is it affecting Australia? Well, it is to a degree. That's in the world. But then you've got, the unreliability of the next budget.
Yeah.
Then we've got the, Westpac's just come out and said, we're going to get 3 interest rate rises, 3 cuts would be amazing.
I was like, that's wishful thinking.
So that's more scare tactics of people saying, I'm going to be put off. I don't know how many banks have ever got this bloody right anyway. So, great articles these are. And then you've got the capital gains discount. So the message out from the government is always, we're cutting your tax, we're cutting your tax. Well, yeah, they did, thanks for the 2.5%, but what about the other 4,000 taxes that you've increased? And there's lots of scarcity out there at the moment, and we don't know what's going to happen when it comes to that. But the message that I'm trying to portray, and a lot of people out there are portraying, that this is the opportunity of the time to get into the property right now.
Well, it's interesting. Let me give everyone a bit of a pulse check of what's going on, right? So we've got exactly what you said, Cam. It's the fear mongering from all the headlines in the media, and we've got a couple of them here. But if I go to the RBA cash rate, it's currently sitting at 4.10% after the March increase. Annual inflation is 3.7%, and housing costs are still one of the biggest pressures in the economy. So that's up 7.2% over the year, and food prices are also still rising. So in plain English, that means that borrowing money feels more expensive, household budgets feel tighter, mortgage stress still feels real for a lot of people, rents and housing costs are still hurting people, and everyday living is more expensive than buyers want it to be. So people feel less confident making big financial decisions. But what does the market feel like right now from where you're sitting? I'll take your perspective first.
So it's changing, but again, like the message has always been, as markets within markets, so different markets are doing different things.
Yep.
So the Melbourne market's completely different to the Brisbane market, to the Cairns market's different, and even the WA market. Yep. So when you're talking about opportunities, there's different opportunities for different places. And I think a lot of it's going to do with the prices. So what history tells us. It's a big one. History told us, 5-6 years ago when COVID hit, what happened? Everyone's scared, prices just went through the roof. We can't afford to live here. Petrol prices, cost of living went up. Inflation's gone up. That was our biggest thing when we had 13 rate rises. I can't afford to buy. There's a lot of people that did buy. I was one of them. I bought multiple times in that period, and it's done absolutely nuts. But over history since at least 1982, every about 6 years, there's been a big major issue that's come up, from the GFC to COVID to you name it. And we're just in another one of these.
It's true. What you're stating there is that whole thing of the uncertainty, right? And when there's uncertainty, buyers, investors tend to kind of close up. And I feel like that comes from media shit, to be honest. I think that's a lot of articles, a lot of headlines that kind of put the fear into people and put them off buying. Like, the one article I can't stand seeing at the moment is it's the hardest it's ever been to be 30 years old in this country. While I don't deny that and say, yeah, that's true in a lot of ways, I've got the mentality that if you've got good savings, you've got an ability and an ambition to buy, you've spoken to the right people in the market, you can do it, despite what's going on, in the world.
Absolutely.
And yeah, is that something that you would agree with, or
Yeah,
what you're
100%,
saying?
because the people that have learned from history have done this.
Yeah.
So the people that have bought in the hard times, and this is the classic Warren Buffett, I don't think I need to say it, be fearful when others are greedy, greedy when others are fearful.
Yep.
So my message right now is be greedy.
Yep.
If you can be greedy and buy that property, do it. Because this is where you're going to be greedy and making your money over the next, few years when people haven't. And it's always going back to that, I wish. Geez, I wish I had done that. Or I wish I'd taken that advice. Instead of saying I wish, be the person that does and then say I'm glad.
I think if I have to think about our culture, right, we're very risk averse. Here we look for a lot of certainty before we make big decisions, like whether that is financial decisions, even that's down to going to the shops and should we buy dinner and spend money on takeaway, or should we stay home and cook dinner? All these decisions, we're not very risk taking as a culture, and I think that contributes to a lot of the reasons why you stay on the market. And this is something we've spoken about, Cam. When you stay in the market and wait, what are you waiting for? What are you seeing that we're not seeing as professionals in the space?
Like, creating wealth through property isn't something that happens overnight, right?
No.
Like, it's not like, okay, like crypto. I don't know much about crypto, but you could buy a coin and then, it's so volatile. It's running 24/7. It could go up majorly, or, Trump might make an announcement, you buy gold and then that'll go up or whatever. But with property, or, most or assets that you invest in, it's long term.
Yeah. And
look at your super. That's a long term hold. You can't touch it until you're 65. You've been building it for 30, 40 years, and then you can finally touch it. What you're putting into it has grown massively because you've just left it there.
Yeah, it's so true.
So you can build on that as well, buy through property. But again, and as everyone says, property is a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vehicle that creates cash flow for you to build on, to compound, to grow over time, to build your equity up, to buy the next one, to get where you want to be.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the other thing too to think about is, like, you've got the buyers that through every market, like you said, COVID, GFC, you see the same patterns and behaviors. Like, I started my real estate career just after GFC, which was not a good move. And, I was only 18. But I remember the struggle of having buyers on the market. Like, I had open for inspections, I had no one there. And that was normal for probably 6 months. And then when we did get a buyer, it was hanging on to that person saying, can I just take you anywhere you want to go? We had to drive for buyers back then to get them into our stock. And every person who purchased in that market, while it was considered one of the worst times to buy, they're all kicking ass now. Like, and I know that's going back to 2010, 2011 era, but even the ones that got rid of those properties like 6 years down the track, they made over 300,000 on those investments, despite how shit they were at that point. So it's like, we as professionals, and I think you just said this so perfectly, we don't know what the market's going to do, but we know that the trajectory has gone up. Different markets do different things. But overall, Australia, we've not gone in a massive dip for 10 years or 2 years. We've always gone up. We've recovered.
That's right. And they're talking about, like, I read an article yesterday and it was like, yeah, we're looking at a 2.5% dip in certain Melbourne areas.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
good on you, because we've just made 10%. in a lot of areas. So if you're dropping back 2.5%, well, you still made 7.5% equity, right?
This is the thing, yeah.
That's your mindset. And then you've got other suburbs. I bought in Toowoomba 9 months ago. My clients have made over 100,000. Okay, is that going back? I don't see that in that actual market. All I've seen recently is that what I bought for that property now is bottom of the market right now. So, and that's from their growth. You can't find anything at the moment for that price that is worth any good quality.
And this is the big thing, I think, at the moment is how much of it do you think is just the fear from the media and the pressure and the messaging versus actual buyers who can't buy financially?
Well, it is, but it's a lot of it is that.
Yeah.
And there is fear. I mean, it is tight.
Yeah.
It is tight out there. Like, I look at filling up my tank. It's $150 now to fill up half a tank. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's many factors that play into this. You got to look at what is the number one driver why property prices go up.
Yeah.
It's just the basics. It's supply and demand.
Yeah.
Now, what's the other amazing thing that the Australian government does is we bring people in from overseas. Our migration is huge here, right? So what we're doing is we're bringing lots more people in, which is creating more demand, but the inflation of the property supply or the cost of building a property now has just gone up 25%.
It's like buying like the new builds and like inflation and stuff like that. It's hard to kind of foresee, even with immigration. Like everyone kind of blames immigration in a lot of ways, not to turn this political, but like they blame immigration for the loss of opportunities because they ate up all those options that they could have purchased. Do you think that's the case, or do you think it's more that those people are capital ready? They do much more kind of lending between each other to help each other out?
Look, it's cultural, right? So I love multicultural. I think we can learn off people. I don't particularly have an issue with people coming in.
Yeah.
Because I think if we do it right, obviously we want the right people in, but we've got one of the most highly liquidated professions right now is builders.
Yeah, that's true.
And who is in their right mind? I know when I was a kid, I wanted to be a builder.
Yeah.
I was sitting out there at the back with me hammer and nails, and I was building a little cubby house, and I'm like, I want to be a builder. And then you had that, like, not long ago, everyone was loving Bob the Builder.
Yeah, that's right.
But with everything that's happening, I don't think anyone's going to want to be a builder.
No
one's going to want to trading now. It's the highest liquidated profession that's coming out. So if you haven't got people that are wanting to be builders, well, what's going to get built? People starting their own small businesses and now going to these major construction companies because that's where they can get the jobs. That's where they can get the money. There's no builder out there that's going to fix the cost price because look at what happened when they did that last. All the builders, Petrol nearly went under. But that is just crazy. So people have to start thinking outside the box. The government needs to start thinking outside the box to say, how are we going to get the demand? We got the demand, but how are we going to get the supply in for the demand? We're not matching it. They're not bringing their promises, which is fine. So this is where I think it can come into the next bit of the opportunity.
Yeah.
So the opportunities out there is what you wouldn't be thinking of.
Well, I think this is like, if I look at opportunity, right, in a really broad sense, it's the question of if you're actually ready, should you still buy?
Yes.
That's what people are wondering.
It's simple. It's a yes. It doesn't matter if we're going through what we're going through right now. It doesn't matter if we're going through the highest surge of property prices or if there's nothing happening. If you're ready to buy, that is the only right time when you to buy.
Yeah.
If you've gone and spoken to your mortgage broker, your accountant, whoever is on your team, and they've said to you, you've got enough equity to buy, you've only got one job to do.
Yeah.
And that's buy.
Well, I want to read you a couple of headlines that I found. So these are from different articles that have come out in the last week, right? And I want to kind of get your vibe on, or your impression on them. So this one headline says, economic stress scares off Australian home buyers as auction clearance rates fall. Another one is Australian households fear double whammy of rate hikes and higher petrol prices. This is another article. Triple whammy for Australian property owners as house prices slump, interest rates bite, and tax reforms loom. And this last one is stagflationary shock from Iran war, a nightmare as confidence crashes among Australian households. What do these headlines do to the public when, like, to a buyer who's been sitting there, let's say, for a couple of months, they had a pre-approval, they're ready to buy a house, and then they're hearing all these headlines? What does that do mentally?
Well, it scares them. It's fear, right?
Yep.
It's exactly what it is. And what are they getting out of it? They're getting an article that they published so people read it. That's clickbait.
Yep.
The real people, the smart people right now are ignoring that and they're getting in still.
Yep.
I've got these clients and I love all my clients, but these guys are young and look, I'm sure they've read this stuff, but they're just like, Cam, I just want to get in. Let's get in. Let's do it. I'm like, yes, we're ready to go. Let's buy. And I'm just like passionate about these guys because they're not worried about that. They just want to get the property. They're not listening to whatever all the other things are saying and all the other people are saying, and they're just taking action.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is why I was saying earlier, I've got our producer who's sitting next to us, Guy, and his brother are looking to, invest, right? And I said to them both, I said, look, if you're in a financial position to do so, that's the first check in the box. First, you got to talk to a broker and find out, can you do it? And if they give you that green light to do it, don't worry about what's happening in the market or the media. Like, just, you got to get into the right market. Where you buy is going to make a big difference here. So yes, if you buy in a market that is not performing and you have plans to hold this property just for 2 years, use the equity for something else, you got to be really strategic with where you buy it.
Absolutely.
And that's the other part that people don't get. It's like, oh, cool, so I can buy, so I'll buy in any suburb. It's like, no, it's not about getting in anywhere at the moment. It's about getting in with in the right location, I feel, to give you that extra kind of comfort that you're doing the right thing.
100%. And then like what you're looking at with the different markets is different things are happening.
Yeah.
So for example, you've got Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
I remember everyone was talking about Docklands. What a shithole. I wouldn't be buying anything there. It's ridiculous. So right now you want to be buying in there because the prices have dropped.
Oh, yeah,
They've dropped to a point where it's like, okay, we can get in, but it costs more. There's no more development happening there because it costs too much to build them.
Yeah.
So you're going to get them cheaper than what they were to build. So no one's building there. So that's all the demand is going to go in there because it's affordable.
Yeah.
And people are going to start, living there and cashing in on that. So you're going to get the good yields in there. You're going to get it at a cheap price. You've got to be careful of the strata, of course, and what's in there. But, it's another ways. But it's the affordability. You've got other places out there like in Footscray and stuff like that too. But then you go to the other end of the markets. Sydney's going to be the same. And history tells us with Melbourne, when interest rates go up, prices go down. Now, there's lots of population-driven areas. So you're like your Geelong areas, you've still got some good growth out here in like your Franks and Seafords. I don't mind Pakenham. I think some numbers stuck out there because it's on the outer fringe too. But then if you keep growing out there, you're going to start getting into your Gippsland as well.
No, I've got to say with Gippsland, the most surprising suburb I want to call out here is Morwell.
Morwell, yeah.
Unbelievable growth and unexpected in the sense that I don't think people realised, like you and I were talking about this early last year, probably a year ago, where we started looking at the data for Morwell and it said, I think maybe it was about March or April, and it was 16.5% growth.
Yep.
And I'm like, are you shitting me? You could get in for under 300,000 in Morwell for a house on like 750, 800, metre square of land, a house, 2 to 3 bed, 1 bath, 2 car, whatever. You could get in for under 300,000. That's like insane.
And that's from doing the due diligence, but what's going on out there? So it's a lot of affordability issues. So people can't afford to buy anywhere else. Yeah. But then you've got, an increase in population due to the fact of that. But then you've got like more transports going out there. There's more infrastructure that the Commonwealth Games, they're still building. So there's many issues that have gone. I bought a few properties out there for some clients out there and they've done really well.
Yeah.
So that was their affordable. That's where people ask me, why are you buying out there? Well, that's what they can afford and it's still got the growth.
I have a question for you, right? How much of this, like I've had this like with a previous client, to give you an example, this is going back 2023, 24. And this is when I was doing advocacy and the client wanted to buy in the eastern suburbs and she said to me, oh, but I don't want to buy in this particular pocket. And I said, why? It's an owner occupier. And I said, why? And she goes, oh, my friends say it's shit. Ringwood. My friends say it's shit. Oh, they think it's, terrible. And I'm like, okay, but I'm looking at the data. Are your friend? I said, just because of the reputation you think it has, it's gone up by 10%. It's performing well. It's a great property. It's a great asset. Are you really going to be that gutted buying that asset and owning it and living in it if it's performing for you and it does what you need it to do for the next 5 to 10 years?
You're not living in it.
Yeah, you're living in it.
Oh, you're
right?
living in it, yeah.
And then upgrading.
Okay.
And she got it. She got her valuation done this year, and she just said, "Yeah, thanks for that."
First time.
Second time. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wrapped.
And so and that's right. So you look at places in Geelong like Corio.
Oh, Corio.
Why would you buy there?
Yeah.
I remember growing up as a kid, Corio was like, you don't even drive through there. But now it's like, it's gentrifying.
Yeah.
It hasn't been gentrified. Same with Frankston.
Yeah. Same with Morwell. Like, it's still downtrodden, but it's, I think there's stuff happening down there.
I look at social housing when I'm buying. It's not a major factor.
Yeah.
It's a factor that you've got to consider because you've got to think of the long-term tenants you're going to get in there and how your property is going to be looked after. But you want to make sure that you're getting the right property for your right strategy. But look at Elizabeth in South Australia, right?
Oh, yeah. That's...
Salisbury, Elizabeth. That place has gone through the roof because of the investor activity.
Yeah, it's true.
Just like it's crazy. So the opportunities are out there. And what I'm liking now is the way that I think buyers advocates or buyers agents have the extra step, right?
Yeah, of course.
We're prepared now. We're thinking because we're buying in multiple markets or we've got people that we can lean on too. The agents aren't keeping up.
No,
So it's changed. It's flipped. And this is exactly what I've noticed in the last 2 weeks. So the buyer demand has stepped back and they're noticing that because of the, there's not as many people coming through the walkthroughs. For me in Cairns, it's suburb by suburb and depending what they look at. Some I'm still got like 30 pairs of shoes at every open. Some I've got 2, but depends on what it is in the suburb. I speak to other agents like Sunshine Coast. It's the same. It's very, very dependent on the suburb. But the negotiation and the thoughts of these agents it's still in that we're in the growth stage and we've got all the buyers coming to us all the time. Yeah. So had a conversation with this guy yesterday and he was like, I've got 7 or 8 other offers on the table. I'm like, yeah, you do, mate. Yeah, you do. Great. So I'm like, he's like, just put your offer in and you'll be fine. You just have that conversation. He's got no one. Doesn't want to take my offer. I'm like, that's fine. I haven't even said the price yet. So it's just, he's still in that frame of mind. He's still got everyone coming in and he doesn't. So the buyer's agents are having these conversations now. And this is where it's a great time for buyer's agents to build your relationships with your real estate agents.
Well, yeah, because they're desperate to offload their stock at the moment. So if you've got a genuine buyer, it's a time where the negotiation can be quite straightforward.
Yeah, but we've always had genuine buyers.
Yeah, that's right.
But they've always had the buyers coming in too, but now they don't. So they're still thinking about how it has been for the last 5 years, forgetting the times, or there's a lot of new agents in there now, forgetting the times what it was like prior, but we're up to it.
Well, that's the thing. You're ready. And even a lot of the agents I'm speaking to at the moment say the same thing. Like they'll tell me, have you got anyone on your mobile app that's looking to buy? And I'm like, look, we've got activity in the downloads. Yeah, we do. And they're like, oh, okay, like anyone looking in this suburb? And I'm like, yeah, probably. But what's interesting about it is it's like when you buy at Christmas. It's the buyers that everyone packs up shop, shuts shop right after, Christmas Day. And then the period between Christmas Day and basically, end of Jan, everyone's on holiday mode.
Yeah.
And then the buyers, that same buyer I had who purchased in Ringwood in the end, she purchased that property. We did that through Christmas. And I said, stay on the market. If you want an edge in this market, stay on the market, because there were not that many buyers and the agents were doing the same thing they're doing now, going, you got anyone? You got anyone? And I'm like, yeah, I can probably refer a couple of people.
Yeah.
Send me your stock.
Yeah.
But there's a desperation about it from them. And they, like you said, they're spinning that, there's multiple buyers, there's multiple offers, there's multiple buyers, multiple offers. I call a bit of bullshit there.
Yeah. So it's just things are going to change. And how long is this going to go for? We don't know. But it's exciting. It's exciting for buyers because the thing is that we've been in a seller's market for so long, we're slowly going into a buyer's market, and it's about your frame of mind and how you're going to handle it.
How much do you think it's like in your, are people trying to predict the next 12 months from this point perfectly instead of just buying well now if they can?
Yeah, possibly. It's a good point. Because we've been predicting. That's what we've been doing for the last 5 years is predicting.
Yeah.
But what we're thinking now is like, okay, well, how do we not predict but negotiate to be able to, instead of saying, oh, look, we don't want to be overpaying, but we'll accept this price,
Yeah.
to being, okay, well, we can actually shave a shitload off this now and we still get it good. And as any good investor does have long-term wealth, it might be a bit rough at the start, but over time, that 10, 20-year period, that's where it's going to pay off.
Yeah, 100%. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So, and this is the other thing too, like I guess for context, I wanted to kind of reference the auction clearance rates, right, for a second, because the clearance rates have weakened in Sydney and Melbourne, but conditions are not uniform across the country. So some markets and some price segments remain more resilient than others. PropTrack has also said housing market activity is slowing as the rates rise, which is true, but slowing activity is not the same thing as nobody should buy. Just because it's slowing, I don't agree with that. So if we're talking headlines in this case, everything is telling you basically to protect your money, hold your money. But as we know, Cam, yeah, protect your money, hold your money. What's going to happen in 6 months when when it's springtime and everyone starts buying again? Then you have a massive hit.
Do. They buy whenever. It's follow the herd mentality.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that person started buying, I should buy.
Yeah.
The time to buy, in my opinion, is when everyone else is not buying, when they're too scared.
Yeah,
and this is exactly why we're doing this episode. Not because there's a motivation other than just to give you some encouragement to say, if you're hearing all these headlines and articles and scare tactics or data, you just need to have a chat with one main person. It's your financial person.
Yeah.
It's whether it's a broker or an advocate or, an accountant, and get a realistic read on, can you afford it? Because here's my other point. If you can afford it in high interest rates, shit economic times, and you're allowed to buy a house, or you can afford to buy and maintain a house, you'll fly through it when it's fucking good.
Yeah.
You'll fly through home ownership because if you can do it in its shittest time and ride that wave out, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be absolutely fine.
My Seaford I bought in 2022, I bought it at a time when everyone was getting out.
Yeah.
It was when the land tax just came in.
Mm-hmm.
And, talk about, have I made the right decision? Oh my God. I was like, what have I done here? The price of the property didn't go up. Rent was not covering it. Didn't do anything. Then you get slogged with the land tax, and all the investors, all the articles then were saying, oh, tens of thousands of investors are leaving, every month, and all this doom and gloom. And I'm like, no, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm holding this, and I'm reaping the rewards now.
Yeah.
I've got long-term tenants. I've got great capital growth. It's taken me a couple of years. So I've had to pay, I think, how much about $10,000 in land tax over the years.
Yeah.
The amount of money I've made from that in capital growth in the last years is a lot. I can't even fathom how much more because I've just held it. The other group of people that are going to be, I think, the worst off from this is the renters.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that renters are going to be the one that cop the brunt because of decisions that governments are making.
Flesh that out for me. So where from your perspective are you seeing the renters impacted most?
They're not now because it hasn't been implemented.
Yeah.
But it's like when prices go up or anything so just say you've got your phone.
Yep.
And then you get an increase in your phone bill. Now that increase in phone bill is because, electricity prices are going up, or it costs more to put the towers up, or, wages are going up. Who gets that? Us consumers, right?
Yeah.
So when we get pushed around by saying, well, you've got to add land tax on, you've got to, you're not going to get your capital gains. Negative gearing's gone now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, mate, but we can put it up to market, but because it's happening, and the market's just going to go higher. When COVID was happening, everyone was like, how the hell can I get an $80 a week increase in 12 months? Well, unfortunately, because we have to cop all the things, we are essentially in a way running a business by having a property, and we can't afford it. So it comes back to there's no supply because there's no more houses being built.
Yeah.
People need to rent, and investors are buying it. The investors are copying it.
But it's also the lack of, it's not even just the lack of building property. It's affordable housing is the key term there, right? Because you can have housing. If you've got 700,000, you can buy a brand new house. For a lot of people, that's probably not feasible at the moment, but it's the affordable housing in those further out suburbs. And this is just my take. And I say this a lot to, like, I've got a few like friends and family that have come to me, recently and said, we're thinking about buying, same kind of concerns. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. One that baffles me is, I said, where do you want to, are you doing it for owner rock? Yep. I want to live here. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I said, why? I said, the median house price here though is way out of your budget. Like whatever you're going to buy here is going to be an apartment and it's going to be shit. That's all you can afford with that budget. Otherwise you're going to have to go further out. Either even rent vest if that's an option for you. And if that's not an option because of like the cost of living and pressures, I said, I get that. But then either sacrifice for a couple of years and go live out there. I said 2 years if you can, if your job allows it. And if it doesn't, then hold off a little bit longer until you can build up a bit more of a deposit. And I sometimes think that the stubbornness about where people want to buy, they say they can't buy, but it's like, no, you can. It's just you're being stubborn about where. Yeah. Especially owner occs, because I get that. I don't want to go live in Morwell, for example. Yeah. But far out, I could clean up in Morwell with my equity now. Yeah. I could just about buy outright. Yeah. But do I want to live in Morwell? No. What I do want to do though is take that equity, and if I really wanted to, I'd rent vest.
Well, it's sacrifices, right?
That's right. Sacrifice for over a certain period. Yeah.
And you sacrifice little to gain a lot.
Correct.
So if you're prepared to, especially first home buyers, and right now they've got their schemes in place, which again is increasing the demand, but now that's all sort of past and it's, they can't afford it anymore anyway. But you need to, I think hard work and sacrifice will help you get into that, eventually get into where you want to live. And some recent clients, they came to me saying, my plan is, Cameron, we want to buy our dream home. How can we do it? So I said, look, we set up a strategy. They already had a couple of homes. And I said, look, let's get you an investment property and we'll get some equity out of that. And we'll have equity from all of them. And then the next purchase will most likely be your dream home. Yeah. So they've sacrificed getting their dream home now to getting another investment, which is costing them just before all this talk. But what's going to happen soon? They're going to be better off because they made that sacrifice. Yeah. Personally, I worked my ass off as a nurse. Yeah. I was doing double shift after double shift, 18-hour nights, days, you name it. And I didn't, my first home wasn't my dream home, I'll tell you right now. Yeah. I loved it because I built it. Of course. But I had to sacrifice a lot for that. And I just kept doing it and did it smartly to be able to get where I'm at now.
I think there's a lot of hang-ups for especially the younger people, like in their late 20s, early 30s, to buy something that reflects that family home feel for their first home. And I often talk about it on this podcast, and I want to just reiterate that message that your first home, I hate the term first home. I hate it because it comes with pressure. Your first home comes with a lot of weight on what it should look like, how it should feel, what it represents. Yeah. We need to start calling it a starter home, because the minute you put the terminology starter home, it indicates it's a start. So that justifies all of a sudden, no, we're just going to buy a starter home. Oh, okay, cool. They're going to buy a unit or a townhouse or something a bit smaller. It takes the weight off first home.
I like that.
And I bloody hate the term first home. Yeah. Because all of that for me represents my first home where my family will be and my kids and my dog and cat and blah, 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 blah. I don't need the pressure, because all of a sudden my budget that I'm going to stretch to 800,000 for my first property. That's not normal. Yeah. Buy as low as you can in a growth market, in a green shoots market where you can maximize it. Now, 2 years down the road, then go buy your first home. Yeah. You bought your starter home, it starts. You kickstarted your time. And one message to you guys too, you got to remember that you only save for a deposit once if you're smart. Okay? You do it once in your life. You begin early, you save up that big hefty deposit that you need. Don't do something to go hard and off its head where you need 100,000 up front. You get something humble. You go to Morwell, for example, if a 5% deposit in Morwell is probably 15 to 30,000 in a lot of cases. If you save that, which for a lot of people is manageable over a 2-3 year period, not even less, then you've got your starter home. Keep it for 2-3 years, build some equity in it because it's a green shoots, and then go forward. Go buy that first home because now you're buying it with equity.
Yeah.
You're buying it with actual money that you haven't had to sit there, bleed, sweat, and cry for. So your first property is your hardest one.
Yeah.
You just got to get in, but you've got to get in right. And if you don't get into the right market, you've got to hold it until it's right.
Fear is something we live with every day.
Yeah.
And, we're called the lucky country for a reason. Because we're isolated. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
And, you see all the time the things that are going on in the world, like, we are lucky. We're worried about paying $3 of fuel, whereas you see on the news that the doom and gloom that's going on there, all just because of a couple of egos around the world. Yeah. We've got it great. We capitalize on that, and we can capitalize on it smartly to make our lives even better.
Yeah.
And anyone else can do it. Anyone can do it. I say this all the time. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
But it's true. It's just, like I said, the first deposit is the hardest one.
Yeah.
Just buy something that's a start.
Yeah.
Get started. Don't go in with the big head honcho home that's got the 4 beds and there's only 2 of you.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
A lot of thing that's happening now is that, and I do it too, I always look up to people that have done things. So, and people are saying, I can't do that. Why not? Like, do you reckon people turn around and say, like Elon Musk is saying, oh, I can't do this anymore? The dude's bloody putting stuff on the moon.
But again, that comes back to that comment I made, that culturally we're risk averse.
Yes.
So we need a lot of proof before we do something just as a culture.
Yeah.
I get that. But that there is stopping you from, benefiting from a lot of shit. Like if you're looking at Joe Blow and you're like, oh, far out, how did they made 200,000 because they invested 10 years ago. I should have invested 10 years ago. Okay. So now we're telling you, don't be that person that waits again. It's a shit market. Again, I'll go back to that point. If you can afford to buy, if your broker or your financial advisor is saying you can do it comfortably and you can ride out this really, uncertain time, like with rates being high, RBA cash points, like cash basis points, all of that crap going on, fuel prices. If you can make it through this, you're going to be fine.
Absolutely.
You'll be right.
It's not forever.
No. Cam, the real question here is, why are we so vehemently like going, this will be fine, you can invest? Like, where's the proof?
Yeah, it's a good point. Like, so I think we've had like 2 rate hikes in the last, say, 9 months. We've had a lot of hold. And this is where the real scare factor's coming in because there's always talk of more. My clients have made in the last 12 months an average of $50,000.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're talking about. Average of 50,000 is huge.
So they're all very well. They're very happy. My one of my top performing in the last 9 months has been over 100,000.
Damn. Damn.
So what this is showing is that yes, we've had rate hikes, but it's still not slowing. Now it's all markets in markets, of course. The Olympics is going to help, and it's not about the games itself. It's about the infrastructure coming in and amazing things. And the Queensland government is on to it, so they're the kind of governments you want in your corner. So Australia in the last 10 years had a growth of 4 million people, right?
Yep.
That's huge.
Massive.
And we've had an increase in inflation. This is why interest rates keep going up. Why don't we just range that threshold a bit longer? Like, why does it have to be the 2 to 3? Look, I'm not an economist, that's for sure. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
But if we just raise it to say 3 to 4, is it really going to matter? Africa, right? There is 90%. We're nowhere near Africa. But, why don't we just do that and maybe think about, this is the affordability crisis might not be so bad if we haven't got interest rate rises going everywhere. We've got an increase in population. We've got an increase in inflation. We've got an increase in demand. There's no supply. So what way is there to go? It's up.
Yeah, it's up. And I think this is what you're saying. Like, I'm a bit I'm shocked, like with what you said. Like if you go back to last year, the interest rates were the biggest topic last year of they're going up, the pressure. Even the year before that, right? It was like hike. And this is where that cost of living pressure started to really populate. Where this is now going, and based on what you said for the proof, you've got clients that have made 50,000 on average over, I think, was it over 15 different investments?
Yeah.
Right? That's a huge average to actually have earned, considering that last year we were having these same discussions with consumers and buyers again. The interest rate went up, I'm out. I'm not doing anything till it comes back down. If it goes back down, it just comes back up. My partner and I, we invested in COVID, right? So we purchased, and our interest rate at the time was 2.69%. Yeah, we're up to 6.69% on our rate now. Yeah, it's shit. I just call the Bank of Melbourne every 3 months and I go, can you help me out? This is pretty shit. And they reduce my rate if they can. And it's awesome. And then we've got an offset account that we try and, mitigate things through. It's having a good financial person in your corner can help you ride out the shit wave. And if you're gaining capital over 9 months, you said 100,000 in capital growth, that's not a bad place to be considering where the rates were.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. So it's just further proofing.
And can you save that?
What do you mean?
Do you reckon you could save what you're making in your capital growth?
Fuck no.
No way.
No way.
Absolutely no hope.
We've had that house for 4 years and we're sitting on just close to 300,000 in capital growth.
Yeah.
Could we have saved it? Hell no. Like I have this business. I barely get a wage. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
No,
right.
No chance.
So yeah. And it comes to, the greedy property investors, we're not greedy. We're just trying to cut ourselves, to break away from having to take away other people's tax money by getting a pension.
It's risk taking.
And people who take risks get rewarded.
Yep.
So even if you cut the negative gearing, cut the capital gains, we're still going to get the money on the equity, but you just got to be smart about it.
It's just mitigating that risk though. Right. It's Cam and I are not sitting here going, go spend all your money on property and she'll be right, mate, you'll survive. What we're trying to get at is there's a risk that you need to take, but you need to mitigate as many of those risks and assess your appetite for them. So it's like if you know that, yes, you can afford to buy a house, but it means that you're going to have to live really poorly and eat ramen noodles because that's what your broker said. Maybe that's not the market you want to invest in. That's not the risk you want to take for the next 6 to 12 months while the market catches back up. But in the other hand, if you can buy somewhere else in a market that's growing and it's a bit less and you get a starter home instead of this glorious first home we're all crapping on about, you'll get some reward for that. And you can live and have your smashed avocado on toast and go out for your coffees every day and know that you got a property that's working for you rather than your property and your assets need to work for you. That's the difference with investor mentality and owner-occupier mentality.
Yeah.
We, like everyone, when I say we, I'm talking investors broadly, they're investing to gain financial benefit from it. So it's not something to invest in to get nothing out of.
Yeah.
There is a gain there, whether that is future resale, whether that is rental return, whether that is just capital growth, there is a motivation and a strategy to get you there. You just have to talk to the right people. And this is where buyer's advocacy in my books is always the number one. The right advocate, not any advocate, not the ones that are screaming from the hilltops. Give me 20% and I'll turn you into a moneymaker. Do your due diligence, research the right agents, work with the person, like similar to a Cam. There's a reason I have Cam on this podcast so often, to be honest. Because his approach is honest. He's direct. He'll tell you the no bullshit approach. This is what this podcast is all about. It's the no bullshit. That's why we're talking so crassly today about what the fuck's happening in this market, because we don't want you guys to be discouraged when times are tough. It's an individual position that you need to assess for yourself, but also it's don't let the fear and the bullshit media feed your mind this crap that you can't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the fear that's killing everyone. And just don't be one of those people saying, I wish. Just get in.
Yep.
Like, just do it. There's no reason not to. It is scary and you might be in a little bit of pain, but it'll be, time heals all wounds.
100%. Cam, were any of your clients scared when you first bought and what got them through that?
Look, a lot are. Like, and there's the buyer's remorse, right?
Oh, it's huge.
It's huge because it's one of these things that whether the times are good and you're showing them how good it is, and it's going to come up to a point where I think it's going to even grow. And having a buyer's advocate is where we take the emotions out of it for you. But you're not spending a couple of bucks here. We're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then the average price now is what it was 12 months ago is bottom of the market. So, for example, I was looking at houses for Toowoomba for around 800,000. It's at bottom of the market now.
Well, I want to bring up some stats because I follow this quite closely, and this is going to, on that point of buyer's remorse. So Finder did a survey last year of home buyer report. Now, the last one they did was in 2022, and they did this one, and just some of the key metrics here. 60% of first home buyers say recent interest rate cuts influence their decision to buy now. Right? When I look into that article, driven by media hype is one thing. So the media pushing them, like this is all data. So this was taken from a sample size, I think, of 1,001 buyers that were surveyed. 1 in 4 buyers are looking interstate or in a different region. 70% of first home buyers are buying or have bought with less than a 20% deposit. And nearly 2 in 3, 65% spend or expect to spend 30% or more of their income on mortgage repayments. So what are they kind of trying to highlight here? Yes, it is harder, right, to buy. The price has increased. That's how you know you're getting capital gains, by the way, everyone. If the market's going up, we're doing something right in a lot of ways. When I look at what is fueling the fear? It says here, almost 2 in 3, 61% of buyers say they've missed out on a property they were seriously considering. Being outbid by competitor buyer is the most common reason, affecting 1 in 3, 33% of buyers. And the first-time buyers spend searching for a home is also increasing, likely due to rising competition over the past 3 years. The number of buyers spending a year or more searching for a home has risen by 24%. It's huge numbers. So the percentage of home buyers who have missed out on a property they were seriously considering, says here, competitor offered a larger monetary offer or bid. It was 33%. Competitor gave an unconditional offer, full cash or no finance, was 23%. And couldn't get pre-approval in time, 11%. And competitor offered a shorter settlement period, 7%. These are the reasons that people are missing out on property.
So this is the time why right now is a good time to get in, because we're going to have a short window right now where everyone's scared because of all these stats.
Yeah.
So while everyone else is scared, if you're thinking, let's buy, or you buy, you're going to have a competitive edge because no one else is in there. You may be able to negotiate the price down even more because, well, no one's buying the properties, and you're going to have the longer term benefits.
Well, how interesting is this? 45% of first home buyers who purchased in the past year say they regret their decision to purchase. And in terms of like why they regret it, where is it here? 1 in 7 who bought their first home in the past 12 months have no savings left. 1 in 3 have less than 10K remaining. To me, this is poor financials and this is poor asset acquisition. What you're buying, where you're buying it, and the finances you're using to do it matter. It matters. You need the right people in your corner. So again, I just want to reiterate, we're not saying go out and spend all your money on property and you're going to reap the rewards. What we are saying is do it properly and you will reap the rewards.
And are they buying that first home that's in their dream home?
This is the problem. That's why I say it's starter homes. Stop buying first homes and family homes.
So one of the first conversations I have with my clients is when they've onboarded is they tell me what their budget is and I tell them we're not spending that.
Yeah.
I said, because we're not buying an asset where you're sitting down eating toasted sandwiches for the next 2-3 years.
It's just not the way it needs to be, guys. I know, like, we've heard our parents go, I walked to school and I took a donkey there and all this shit. We don't need to be our parents. Right. It was a different time. They had their struggles back then. They had a different problem in their markets. Even though we say, yeah, we should have bought back then when it was 30,000. Okay, people in 100 years from now, we're going to say the same thing about us.
Exactly right. And that's what history is.
Yeah.
1972, there's that video that's going around of a young couple in Canberra want to buy a block of land for $2,000 that's way overpriced.
Yeah.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Like, geez, and look at this now, 50 years later.
But that's the thing. The times move.
Yeah.
this will become normal. What I would love to see is an increase in the general wages. I think that would absolutely take a lot of this pressure off, because that is very imbalanced and that can contribute pretty harshly, to your borrowing capacity. I can see that. But again, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, where you buy matters. If you can let go of some of the stigma behind, or not even stigma, but this ambition of you've been hung up on a certain location that is within 5 minutes to mum and dad's, and mum and dad bought 20 years ago. Mum and dad could afford that 20 years ago. Now you're trying to buy in that same suburb. Why can't you live about 25 minutes away from mum and dad and get more benefit?
And a lot of the investors I start with, they're happy to buy wherever I sort of direct them.
Yeah.
And my strategy is, look, let's pick a few locations that I think is best for what you're
Trying
looking
to
for.
achieve.
And they come back to me 9 times out of 10 and goes, I would never have thought of buying there.
100%.
Never would have thought of buying there. But I show them why we're buying there. And then they're like, this is great.
And
Let's do it.
It's calculated risk, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is why when you work with an advocate, like that, you're able to have access to that data and those systems. Like, you pay for good quality data. It's a big thing that all advocates pretty much do, or a good advocate should do. When they get all that data in front of them, they're analysing it and then presenting it to you going, based on the math, this will perform. Very rarely are they getting it severely wrong. Like, yeah, we can't predict everything, but it's just based on we're trying to make the risk mitigated, because they're also trying to help you buy your asset. They're not in the business of making you feel like crap or taking a loss. That's horrendous for buyers advocates to do that. They don't want that reputation. They want to be known for getting you really good results. So Cam, the fact that you can say 15% of your buyers are up 50,000 on average from last year when rates were still a problem, same thing happened. That's a massive win and a testament to you.
Yeah.
So what's the summation of this message, Cam? What do we want to get through to these buyers?
I just want you to take risk, the right risk. I want you to just do it. Like, I know I can keep sitting here and drill the same message, and I guarantee you're going to hear the same message from every buyer's agent.
Yeah.
You've got to get in now. You've got to do it, and you are going to reap the rewards. It's just a matter of getting yourself ready to do it. Don't worry about the interest rates. Don't worry about all the articles you read. Don't worry about the friends that have never invested. Just get in there and do it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. No.
You know what I think is going to happen with fuel prices?
Go on.
They're not going to change.
Oh, you don't reckon?
No. We adapt to Australia. The government's going to be able to work out a way to be like, oh, well, Australia's used to this now. Like, we'll just keep it at this. It's like chickens, right?
Here we go.
Prior to COVID, inflation has gone through the roof forever.
Yep.
Well, we got it to that point where interest rates dropped. Did the price of a chicken drop? No. It's $12.50 now. It's been $12.50 ever since.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
look, Cam, as always, I think this has been a really insightful chat. I think with the buyers out there that are listening to this, and maybe we've shocked you, maybe we've upset you, maybe we've gotten you excited. Just let it in, think about it, assess your financial situation, and go and talk to a broker. Go and have a chat with a buyer's advocate. Buyer's advocates love talking about property, even if you don't work with them. I know if you picked up the phone to Cam and wanted to ask his opinion on the market, he's not going to say, oh, okay, well, that'll be this much, please. He'll just start you won't get him off the phone.
Right. I love talking about this.
Yeah, we all do, right? It's a sickness. For us, it's like a passion, because we've benefited ourselves. It's not like we're talking from these positions of we've never done it, we've never bought property, we've never invested. We're coming from positions of, hey, like, we've taken that risk, we've mitigated it. Now we're in a profession of helping others do the same thing, get that financial freedom that everyone chases in this lifetime.
Everything that I tell my clients I've done.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no misguided information. I've literally done it myself.
Yeah, walk the walk.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of the No BS podcast. This was a bit of a different one. We didn't really interview Cam. What we did was had a bit of a yarn and a chat and a blow up, and I love it.
Yeah.
So, Cam, thanks for sharing your insights and being so no bullshit about it.
It's been fun again. And
Nice.
yeah, we've got a few more chats coming along. So excited for them. And big night tonight at the footy.
Oh
So-
my God, Cam's taking me to the MCC to see Collingwood Carlton. And can I just say, I'm quietly shitting myself because it's just me and his brother that go for Collingwood. So we're not doing well. Oh,
You got to beat Carlton.
no, we better end this podcast, guys, because I'm gonna get upset. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and thanks Cam for being here once again. I can't wait to share the other content that we've got coming out in this space, but this episode's going to air pretty quickly. So drop your comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about this situation. If you think it's impossible, Cam's always there to have a chat with. I'm sure he'd love it, like I said. But yeah, Cam, thanks once again for being here. We'll catch you next time on the No BS Real Estate Podcast. Bye for now. That's a wrap for this episode of the No BS Real Estate Podcast, powered by Abodi AI. If you found this conversation helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might need it. If you're looking for more guidance on your home buying journey, you can visit www.abodi.com.au for expert advice, property insights, and the tools you need to find the right home with confidence. If you're already on your journey, you can also download our app. Just search Abodi AI on the App Store or Google Play. Have any questions or want to connect, you can follow us on Instagram at abodi.com.au or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.